Hi, and welcome back to day 13 of National Diabetes Awareness Month. Every single day this month, I'm doing a vlog about a various topic in diabetes. Today's topic is part 2 of how my eating has evolved over the years, as well as answering the question, do I eat now a specific way for my type 1 diabetes? Please be sure to go watch part 1 if you haven't yet, and be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support. So now in the story, we're in 2019. At this time, I wasn't on any particular diet or way of eating. Although during this time, I still considered myself to be a healthy eater. I've always loved vegetables and salads and having like balanced meals, but I didn't have any specific diet or restrictions other than gluten because I am celiac. I had just started my diabetes Instagram, and for the first time in my life, I was at a place with my diabetes management where I really felt like I knew what I was doing. And having that diabetes Instagram, I was hearing so much online about what a plant-based diet could do for diabetes management. At this time, I was also sent a book called Mastering Diabetes, just because I had an Instagram, they were sending it out to some people. I read that book, and that started me on this next phase of my journey. If you don't know, Mastering Diabetes is a book and a method and a program that promotes a low-fat, whole foods, plant-based diet. The crux of the book is that this way of eating promotes the most health and the highest insulin sensitivity, which translates to more predictable blood sugars and therefore better blood sugars, or blood sugars that are easier to manage. Being a curious person who is always interested in health and ways of eating, and now really interested in ways of approaching diabetes management, I was so curious about whether this was actually true. I mean, who doesn't want diabetes to be easier to manage? And while I do consider Mastering Diabetes to be a diet because it is restricting some foods, I wasn't in this diet mindset at this time in my life. It felt more like an experiment. Like, does this actually work, or is this just all hogwash? Instead of feeling restrictive, it felt exploratory, experimental, like I was trying something new to see how it worked in my life. Now, being on Mastering Diabetes method very strictly, I did definitely see results. Here's a post from my Instagram where I talk a little bit about my results. I had incredible insulin sensitivity and I was really feeling good. I was having a lot of fun at the beginning of being plant-based. There were so many recipes to try. It felt like a whole new world of cooking because I had always cooked with meat and been very heavily someone who ate eggs for breakfast, chicken for lunch, steak for dinner, or some combination of that. This was also happening at the same time that COVID was first happening. So we were spending a lot of time at home, and having a project like plant-based cooking was something that I was really diving into and getting into because I had so much time at home where we weren't eating out. It wasn't difficult to maintain because it was really just my husband and I. But following Mastering Diabetes method strictly did not last very long. The whole super low fat, no oil began to feel really restrictive pretty quickly. It kind of left that feeling of being fun and experimental and out of curiosity, and it began to make me feel like there was nothing that I could eat. So I loosened the reins on what I considered to be plant-based dieting, and this is where I start to develop the way that I eat today. Now, I learned a lot from being on Mastering Diabetes. I learned that I actually loved plant-based eating. I learned so much about insulin sensitivity. And I also felt that plant-based eating felt really aligned from a value standpoint in my life. And I also saved a lot of money. So again, I let go of that strict Mastering Diabetes method, but I began to form my own version of what it meant to be plant-based. Which brings us to today. I'm definitely not a low-fat eater, but because of that time that I spent on Mastering Diabetes, I feel like I'm very mindful of fat and I pay attention to it as much as I do to carbs. Not meaning that I restrict it at all, but I'm just aware of it, just like I'm aware of carbohydrates that I eat. And while I say that I eat mostly plant-based, so I never have meat, I don't eat chicken, I don't eat red meat, I'll have fish occasionally. I do eat eggs sometimes. I do eat dairy maybe a few times a week. But I do this less because of what it does to my diabetes and a lot more just because I really fell in love with plant-based eating. I've been plant-based for almost 4 years now, or what I consider to be my version of plant-based. And I've kind of lost that desire to even want to eat meat. So to answer the question, do I eat a certain way for diabetes? I would say I eat plant-based more because it aligns with my values versus because of my diabetes. However, it does have an impact on diabetes because being plant-based and eating less meat kind of naturally makes most meals less fat, which does help create more predictable blood sugars. But like I said before, I don't not eat fat. I still cook with olive oil, I cook with coconut oil, I cook with avocado oil, but I definitely started eating this way because of diabetes. So when people ask me, how do you eat? Like, what is your diet? I always say I am gluten-free because I have celiac and I don't eat meat. And that pretty much does sum up the way that I approach food. I have a very balanced diet. I love pizza. I just tried the other week the gluten-free Oreos. I love having chocolate every night. Like, I love to enjoy food, but I also love eating plant-based, and I feel like I really do enjoy eating that way. So that's how I'm going to continue it for as long as it serves me. I don't think I'll ever find my way back to a really strict method like mastering diabetes, or like mentioned in the other videos, Whole30 or counting macros. But I feel like the way that I eat today really feels sustainable. It feels good. I feel healthy doing it. And I get to really enjoy my meals because I still love plant-based cooking. I'm personally a believer that you can have great diabetes management on any type of diet, but there are just some ways of eating that make diabetes easier. Thanks so much. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and come back tomorrow for another video.